Imagine 2,703 square kilometers of art, a masterpiece. We are in a village in Talish County, in the north of Iran. Painting is not the only place where color is used. I'm going to take you to a feast of color and beauty, and your host is nature. Talishans are one of the oldest inhabitants of Caspian Sea. They have lived in Talish land in old Persia and present Iran 3,000 years before Aryan's migration, and they still speak their own language, Talishi. They carved lakatashon out of wood 200 years ago at this village. Wooden lakatashon is not made anymore, but the name of this village remains lakatashon, and they are cleaning rice in the lakatashon right here today. Each frame that the eye captures at this village is beautiful enough to be a postcard, but living here has its own hardships. Ajdar Jahankha is a Talishi. He has lost his son in the Iran-Iraq war and has lived at this village since his childhood. آقا شما چرا نمیرین شهر؟
ما اینجا البته آب و هوای ما خوب است، غذای ما خوب است، آرامش ما خوب است. الحمدلله.
As a visitor, I do not have to think of the hardships that come with living here. Mother Nature gives me an energy that cannot be experienced in the cities. I feel a kind of freedom that I only experienced as a child. Just as Dante, the Italian poet of the Middle Ages, says, nature is the art of God. You can now decide if you like living in a city with technology and comfort, or living in a village with nature and ease of mind. But please, if you choose the village, don't turn it into a city.
Shiraz is a city with thousands of years of history. This city has fresh nature that nobody can disclaim its beauty. Shiraz is known as the city of poets, gardens, nightingales and flowers. The garden is an important part of Iranian culture. There are many old gardens in Shiraz, such as the Iram Garden, built in Qajar, Iran. The city is also the birthplace and resting place of the great Persian poets, Hafiz and Sa'di. There are several shrines in the city. The most famous one is known as Shah Chiragh. Karim Khan Citadel sits adjacent to the Vakil Bazaar and Vakil Bath at the city's central district. According to Iran's Cultural Heritage Organization, there are over 200 sites of historical significance around Shiraz. One of them lies almost 70 kilometers northeast of the city. The place is called Nakhsh Rostam. The site is a necropolis which contains works belonging to the Elamite, Achaemenid and Sassanid eras. Here, 4 tombs belonging to the Achaemenid kings are carved out of the rock face. One of the tombs is explicitly identified by an accompanying inscription to be the tomb of Darius I. The other 3 tombs are believed to be those of Xerxes I, Artaxerxes I, and Darius II, respectively. A 5th unfinished one might be that of Artaxerxes III, who reigned at the longest for 2 years, but is more likely that of Darius III.
معتبرترین و مستندترین آرامگاهی که ما میتونیم به طور قطعیت به اون نظر بدیم که این متعلق به کدام یک از شاهان، آرامگاه داریوش در این محوطه است که به وسیله خطوط در این خطوط درباره لشکرکشی‌ها و خصوصیات فردی داریوش توضیحاتی رو داده و خصوصا نام 30 اورنگبر و 30 شخصی که در زیر تخت شاهی هستند رو اومده یکی یکی نام برده.
The tombs are known locally as the Persian crosses, after the shape of the facades of the tombs. The entrance to each tomb is at the center of each cross, which opens onto a small chamber where the king lay in a sarcophagus. Each cross-shaped above is over 75 feet high and 60 feet wide.
4 عنصر آب، خاک، باد و آتش رو در حقیقت بیان میکنه.
The tombs were looted during an invasion by Alexander the Macedonian. Another important feature of Nakhshe is a series of 8 Sasanian rock reliefs, some of the greatest ever created on the lower levels of the cliffs.
Nakhshe is one of the most important archaeological sites here in Iran, which contains monuments of the Achaemenid and the Sassanid dynasties. In later times, when people could not remember the origins of such rock carvings, which usually show the triumphant Iranian heroes, they were attributed to Iran's legendary hero Rustam, and the site was accordingly called Carved Representation of Rustam.
The founder of the Sassanid Empire is seen being handed the ring of kingship by Ahura Mazda. This is the most famous of the Sassanid rock reliefs. A 25 feet high carving shows Roman leaders Valerian and Philip the Arab abased themselves before their conqueror Shapur I in 260 AD. In the same area, there is also a building standing in front of these tombs, Kabe Zartusht, assumed to be a Zoroastrian fire temple from Achaemenid period. This is a must-see place, especially for those who have visited Persepolis with all its glory. Salman Kujuri, reporting for Iran.